Welcome to this tutorial, which is about the song Cold Winds Blow for fiddle and backing vocals, but it's going to be a tutorial with a difference. Cold winds blow to free and lonely souls. Now, Mark did a tutorial on the guitar part for Dadgad Guitar recently, also on our YouTube channel, so check that out. And I thought I can show you how I played the fiddle part and teach that to you, but maybe it's more interesting in general if I show you my approach to coming up with a fiddle part and a backing vocal part. And if you're a fiddle player in a band or a duo and you also sing, then what'll be interesting for you maybe is how I kind of integrate fiddle parts and backing vocal parts, because I sing and play the fiddle at the same time quite a lot, and it's a useful thing, especially when there's only two of us on stage. So let's just go through the song, and I'll show you what I was given by Mark when he first came up with the song, and what I decided to put onto it. And so we'll go through it bit by bit. So when I first got the song from Mark, it was a recording. We did later get together and jam it a bit as well and get some more ideas. So I've got this very strident melodic chordal guitar part. Has a definite melody, so I thought, okay, that's good. The first thing I thought was, okay, this sounds very Americana. What can I do to bring this into my style of fiddle playing? Because I could try and copy what a lot of the great American fiddle players do, but it would probably just sound like someone from the north of England copying great American fiddle players. So I just thought, well, my style of fiddle playing is very much based on the Northumbrian, Scottish and Irish traditions. So what are the typical things in there? And just try and just take some fragments of tunes that I've learnt over the years and use them to effect in the song. So the song is in D minor. So I came up with this loop. So it's got the treble, the bow treble, the triplet. That's just down, up, down. That's a typical part of the way I play fiddle. And they don't tend to do that in America. So that's already one thing that's Europeifying the song a little bit to bring it into our own style. And repetition's very important. Repetition's very important. I could just jam along with the song in D minor and play notes that fit, or more importantly, don't play notes that don't fit. That tends to get boring very quickly, and it's sometimes nice to play something differently every time, but it's better to have something recognizable. So I played that 3 times. Right, so what did I do? I did this loop. And then when Mark plays that's when I join in with what he does. So it's a mixture of playing the melody that is sung and also just simplifying it to bring it out and to underpin the chords that are happening. So you've got, it starts on a D on the A string, D, C, D, and then to the F. So it's one normal F and an F triplet or treble. So it's G, F, G, C, A, C, and then D. And you have to play it with a slight swing. Then what I'm doing there is doubling the A. So I'm playing A with the fifth finger. Fourth finger, sorry, I don't have 5 fingers. So fourth finger, playing the A on the D string, and at the same time the open A, and crunching into it, so it's 3/4. Third finger, fourth finger. So down the scale, but not playing the E. E doesn't get played. E doesn't feature in the scale of this song at all. It's a blues pentatonic. I'll come to that later. But if you're trying to play an E in this song, you're doing something wrong. That's the melody of the song. So it's C, A, C, D, C, A, G, F, D. Then, instead of playing what the vocals would do, I do this chordal, broken chord thing. So it's a C, C, D, G, and then as a chord. So that's the introduction. So here's the introduction together with the guitar. 3, 4.
When those cold winds blow,
And then I stop playing. It's a great guitar vocal part, so why play over it? So that's one of my favourite tricks. It's one of the most bold, it's one of the boldest things you can do in music, is just not do anything. Silence is you can always go louder. There's always someone's going to be louder, but more silent than silence doesn't exist. So it's the most bold, powerful thing you can do is just silence. So that's what I often do actually in duo arrangements, is join in for the introduction. So you've got a big sound all together. You've got the sort of maximum just to show intention, if you like. And then I let Mark do the first verse or chorus in this case on his own. So it's a great guitar and vocal arrangement. So let that establish itself first before you fill people's ears up with too many things going on. And it gives you somewhere to go after that, somewhere to grow to. So I leave him to sing the first chorus on his own. This is the end of the chorus now, and I ease in on a D. Octave G. So the verses have a very simple chord structure, which is a G chord and a D chord. That happens 3 times, and then there's an A chord at the end leading into the chorus. So I think there's 3 verses, and I play each of them slightly differently just to vary the sound. Again, there's only 2 of us, so just simple things, simple changes can make quite a big impact on the listener. So I'm easing in at the end of the chorus on a high D, a low D, and then a low G. I mentioned at the beginning that I like to sing and play the fiddle at the same time. I'll break it down. Cold winds blow to free our lonely souls.
Don't need to go down to the river Bravo.
There ain't no preacher man to save. So I'm being quite sparse with what I'm doing vocally there. Rather than trying to sing every syllable that Mark's doing, I'm choosing bits to accentuate. So I'm singing good, good. So I'm singing a fifth above Mark, which is unusual, and it's and it's almost, I think it's parallel fifths, which you're not supposed to do, but it's an effect. Hey, it makes it sound archaic. So it's cold winds blow to free our lonely souls. And I hold that souls and let Mark sing underneath it, so it starts harmonizing itself. Do 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 do. He sings that bit on his own. And then there ain't no preacher man to save. And I hold the save as well and let Mark's the rest of the chorus play out underneath that note. My note's higher than the melody note. And what do I do with the fiddle? Well, basically, if there were another two singers, they'd probably sing what I'm playing on the fiddle. So I'm singing one note and playing another two at the same time. Generally, I mean, here there's some doubling as well. So the fiddle part on its own is. So you'll recognise half of it from the introduction. So what's happening? Cold winds blow to free our lonely souls. There ain't no preacher man to save. So we've got a D chord, an F chord. So the D chord is a low D, a low A and an open D string. And then the F chord is an F on the D string and the open A string. And then I'm just stepping both of those notes up one, so I'm going to the G on the D string and the B on the A string. It's quite hard to get the intonation right on that. And if I add the vocals, so I'm saying cold winds blow, cold winds blow, cold winds blow, cold winds blow. And then the G stays, but the B goes up to a C. Also hard to intonate. It's not easy. So you've got the G chord and then... So you leave the first finger down and just add the second finger on the A string. And then you walk back down, so the G stays put. But here on the A string you've got this C, C, B, A together with the G, so the G does that. So it's cold winds blow to free our lonely souls. Then I double what Mark does, just on the melody. There ain't no preacher man to save. So just like in the introduction, so it's C, D, G, and then B and the open D together. Ain't no preacher man to save. And I hold the save as he sings on. Then to get out of the chorus into the next verse, which starts with the G chord, of course, I take a little melodic tag from the introduction. Always good to repeat things. So little bits of melody, little hooks. It's the oldest trick in the book. All the composers do it. Keep reintroducing them. Keep reminding the listener's ear of what they've heard before. It just ties everything together. Even if you bring it back in a different way, like this, for example. So instead of playing the... from the beginning, there's no time to do that, but I can just play the first bit of it and then get out of it in a different way, so it's like a winding way back down to the G chord. So it's G, F, E, F, E, D, C, D, and then a G chord. So that's back to the verse. So let's try that with Mark, who I have trapped in the computer here. Let's see where he is.
Of steel chains, so when those
cold winds blow to we're into the verse. So as I said earlier, I play the 3 verses differently every time, trying to maximise the effect of just being a duo, of having 2 people. I like that challenge. I like not having too many things going on at once, but just slightly altering what is going on to keep the ears interested, ears of the listeners. So in the second verse, it's a bit more meaty, the whole thing. So it's straight 8s. That's what drummers say to 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So it's a G chord, which is just the open G and D strings, played at the heel, but lightly, and in a controlled way in time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then it goes straight into the D chord, which is the main chord we've already had. That's a B on the G string and the open D. 1 and 2 and 3 and on the 4 there's a little rhythmical kick. Now I heard Mark do this on the guitar and I copied it. That's an important point for arrangement. If you're in a band and you hear your band colleague do something cool, do it with them. Don't do something else that distracts from it and covers up their cool bit. Support it, add to it, and the effect for everyone will be greater. So I heard Mark doing that on the guitar part. Oh yes, a bit. And that's the end, the A chord, which is just, you have to flatten your first finger across the G and D string to get that chord. You have to shift around a bit to get it in tune. From these chords to change, and then the rhythmical build up together and into the next chorus. So after the second verse and chorus, there's a solo. Now, this is something Mark had put in the original arrangement that he just mocked up and sent to me as a recording. So if you're a guitarist and singer, for example, and you want to put something together with your band, leave a bit of space, maybe after the second verse, like in this case. It's a gap in the storytelling for a solo or some kind of musical tag or a tune maybe, whatever, depending on the style of music. Just for something to happen that gives the listener a bit of a rest from the lead vocals and from the story and just shows something else. So in this case, there's a chord sequence that's different from the rest of the song. It's the same chords, just in a different order. I'll show you what happened. But the first thing that happens is silence. He comes out of the chorus. The most powerful thing you can do in music is not to do anything at all. So he leaves some silence and then a really cool chick-chick. Then it bangs in on the 1 into the solo. So I copied that as well. He bangs in, I bang in with him. And I copy the silence as well, because there's no point one person doing silence and someone else filling the gap. That's a really annoying habit most musicians have, especially drummers, I have to say. Oh, a gap, let's fill it with something. No, leave the gap, it's powerful. Right, got you. So,
Down to the river of hope.
ain't no preacher man to say gap.
When the price of the gun.
So what's happening there? So I'll go back to the basics.
Down to the river of
So it's the end of the chorus, and here are the chords that Mark sent me. So first thing you do is listen. What's there? It's a D chord, C, G, D. C, G. So it's the same thing 3 times. D, C, G, D. Now it's the same chords again. Just it doesn't hold the C as long and switches to the G. That confused me, so I decided to go for a worked out solo that follows the rhythmical contours and builds the drama in the right place. A lot of the time I'll just improvise solos and have a few basic hooks that I like to use. But in this case it's a worked out solo that I just jammed away, recorded myself until I was happy with it. Then I learnt it, and that's what we recorded, that's what we do live. I said earlier that this is a blues pentatonic. So it's in D. There are no E's in the song. In the melody of the song, E is a foreign note. So I decided to be bold and use an E in a prominent place in the solo, just to kind of make it jar a bit. So the first note of the solo on the D chord is a D. Nothing unusual about that. And then I go to a double E. So E with the fourth finger and the open E string. And then up to the F, which resolves it. I do cuts all the time. That's just to keep the Northern European folk thing going. And then scale down from the A, G, F, and then that's very bluesy. So G, F, G, F, A, F, D, C, A, C. You got. And then it kind of repeats, but with a variation. So you go in D, A, D, the E again, cheeky E, F, G, and then A, and then stretching up with the little finger to a C, I think. Sometimes get that in tune as well. Right, so you got G, G, F, G, F. Now, here comes the rhythmical change. This is based on my love of Jimi Hendrix's guitar playing and the fact that you'll do some long, soulful notes and then suddenly you go, whoa, and let out a fountain of notes. So this was my attempt to do that kind of thing. That's slowed right down. So it's that blues pentatonic thing with some cheeky E's in it as well. So you've got A, G, F, E, F, E, D, C, then back up to the D, C, A, G, then A, C, D, F. Then I don't play it too cleanly. That adds to the rock and rollness, honest. It doesn't stop. It hangs on to the D, and then it falls. And I do a little slide down as it falls down to the C, A, G. So there's a little syncopated bit. F, E, D, and then right down to the C on the G string. So I'm right on the heel of the bow here to make it gritty and loud. C, C, B, A, then the octave G, 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 F, and then D. This is just some noises. So it's a D, and I'm using the little finger and sliding up to a D as well on the G string, and rocking the bow backwards and forwards. Get some squeaks and scratches in there. Yeah. F, D, F, G, A, B, A, C, D. And now, this is the bit where Mark does the quicker change from the C to the D. I want to do that with him. So it's double E's. And then D. That's the end of the solo, and just let it end. So let's put that together with what Mark's doing.
Down to the river of Ain't no
preacher man to sing. Silence.
When the price
Then we're into
of
the last
gospel
verse.
is-
So just have a little wee rest. Right, in the last verse, again, there's 3 verses, there's 3 different ways of playing the verse. It's a bit of a cheat because instead of playing the chords, I'm just bouncing the bow lightly in the middle of the bow this time, on single notes, G and A. But singing at the same time, why not?
The price of the gospel is on.
Singing the same notes and playing.
And the word of the disciples
then a normal chorus. Winds blow to free and lonely souls. Ain't no preacher man to save. So there's a double chorus. That's a standard trick. All music has to do that. You're playing for an audience and the audience latches onto the chorus, so it's almost always a good idea to give them the chorus twice to end the song, so everyone's kind of with you. So this is no exception. We've got a double chorus. What do you need when you do a chorus twice? Well, you can't just loop it. It's not like cut and paste. You don't just do it twice. You have to have some kind of build-up to build up some energy to get back round into the beginning of the chorus again and make it feel like a big event that we're going to repeat the chorus all together. So I just made some really loud screaming noises. Let's have a look at that part.
blow to free our lonely souls. Don't need to go down to the river.
There ain't no preacher man to save. Oh, winds blow to free. So the notes I'm singing is and I just grit it up a bit, but and before that I'm not doing any fiddly fiddle stuff because that was the link in before. I'm just playing a straight D to let the chords breathe and just to sort of keep the orientation, not confuse things too much. Ain't no preacher man to save. So I'm holding the save and letting the chords resolve underneath. So you think, what's happening now? And then I go, oh, winds blow to free and lonely souls. Totally normal chorus, just a bit louder. Ain't no preacher man to save. And then getting quiet and down, because now Mark has a new chord sequence.
We are lonely.
So this happened when we jammed it around after the recorded demo version we did. We sat down and together and refined the arrangement somewhat. And he just out of nowhere started playing these minor seventh chords. And I just played the intro tag on top of it. So we'll play out the song. Silence. And then a big crashing chord. So it's the intro tag, but slightly different, of course. Things keep changing. Shifting sounds of the Broom Bezzums creativity thing. So we've got... And again. Then it goes down. G, F, E, D. So it's F, E, D, C, A. Da, 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 slowly. And then, because Mark goes to a different chord there, I go with him. So it's D, 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 C, D, up to the E, which is going with his A chord. A chords have E's in them, right? So I've just made a reel, basically, 8-bar section, repeat it twice, and then just keep the E going. 4, 1, 2, 3, chaka. Then I bring the bow in towards, I do this quite a lot, bring the bow in towards the bridge. What a teacher would say is too close, because you start to lose the fundamental of the note and you're just getting the overtones. I loosen off the first finger of my left hand as well to let that happen, and then drag the first finger back to let it fall, and you get a wispy finish to the song. It's a bit like feedback on the electric guitar. We're both rock stars in our heads. Well, I hope that was useful to help you to learn the fiddle and backing vocal parts of that song, but also, probably more importantly, some pointers how to approach coming up with a fiddle and backing vocal part for whatever song you might want to accompany together with someone singing, playing the guitar or the piano, bouzouki, whatever. Just a band situation. How do you integrate a fiddle style violin and some backing vocals and bring the most out of the arrangement and have a lot of fun doing it at the same time? So I hope that was useful. Subscribe to our channel, please, wherever the button might be. It's very important for us to get subscribers so we can eventually get paid for these videos. We have to reach 1,000 subscribers and quite a lot of watch hours before we're entitled to any of the advertising revenue. That would be a very useful string to our bow as professional musicians once that's up and running. So follow everything, like everything, click on everything, and you'll be helping us out in a big way too, and we'll keep the content coming for you. We'll have fiddle, guitar, bouzouki, vocals, everything we play. We'll try and share some of our knowledge and experience with you in a useful and entertaining way. So take care, see you soon.